Welcome to the NC Spin After Spin. Additional comments from our panelists just available on our website. I want to ask you all, what do you wish you'd have said but didn't say on last week's show? Rufus, I'll start with you.
I wish I'd have said that the separation of powers issue is one of the most fascinating things I've ever dealt with, beginning with Senator Ervin, and it will either please some people or plague some people for years to come in North Carolina.
Chris?
Well, I was going to talk about that too. It's interesting, North Carolina, we talked earlier about we historically had one of the weakest governors in the country before we had the veto power, and then the governor got the veto power and we improved some. But I still think our governor, our chief executive, is weaker than in many states. This is the key to making that, I think, a more powerful governor, which I think most of the people in North Carolina would actually support. It'd be interesting to see if the legislature at some point, and this has been bipartisan, will give up some of the powers to make it, I think, a more efficiently run North Carolina.
John?
I want to talk a little bit more about the presidential races. We talked about the impact of Iowa and New Hampshire, and they're substantial, and there are certainly candidates that came out of New Hampshire with momentum and candidates that did not. But I still think the structure of the race looks a lot like a traditional race where you have different candidates representing different constituencies in the party. On the Democratic side, though, I just don't see how Hillary Clinton is not the nominee. As long as she is not indicted, she will be the nominee for the Democratic Party.
Interesting. Bob, what do you wish you'd have said?
Well, that's a good question. And this is sort
I'm glad I asked you.
Yeah, that's right. This is sort of inside baseball on the separation of powers issue. One of the thoughts in the Martin v. Millott case from the 1980s that Rufus remembers, they said that when it comes to executive power, the legislature could give any member of the executive the appointment power. And so what if the legislature decided, say, for the Coal Ash Commission, to give the lieutenant governor 3 appointments? Still eliminating the governor. But there's language in the opinion which talks about the governor's constitutional powers to execute the laws, and I think that's a point overlooked in the opinion. But I think it gives great consolidation of power to the governor as opposed to other members of the executive branch.
That's interesting. I've never heard that said before. Very interesting. Thank you. And thanks for watching the After Spin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.